Welcome to BD Nurse e-corner channel. Today we are going to see another topic which is majorly an important ethical issue as well as a legal issue among the patient's rights and among the patient's liability and so on. Yes, we are going to see about Consumers Protection Act. So yes, who are here the consumer? The consumer here are our patients. So as a healthcare worker, how are we going to know about the consumer's rights? What are the do's and don'ts? What are the advantages? So all these we'll be seeing in the further slides. So yes, not wasting the time, we'll go into the topic. So coming to the introduction, this was being implemented in the Parliament in the year 1986, and this was mainly to bring or create interest among the consumers as well. This is protecting the people, or you call it as the patients. So in what ways it is going to protect the patient? Might be it is totally focusing on the justice as well as the consumer can directly, that is the patient can directly appeal in the court, might be starting from the district level, state level and national level. And in case of any sort of, might be the patient is not being treated well, or he is being treated under negligence or any malpractice, or might be any events such as sentinel, near miss, or any sort of events where the patient, if the patient is aware, the patient can sue on the court, or might be the family members can do so. So what will be the major objectives for a consumer, or you otherwise call as the patients? So the main objectives of the patients is that they will be very competent as well as they are responsible to the markets. So here to the markets, it is meaning to the healthcare society as well. Might be it is in a primary healthcare center, or might be a sub-center, suburban or urban centers, or might be in a well sophisticated NABH or JCI hospitals. And the other objective of Consumer Protection Act is that it is going to promote and protect the patient. So in what ways promotion can take place? Might be we, the nurses as well as the healthcare worker, will be mentally sound, as well as we focus on how the care can be given and how it can be prevented, to prevent might be wrong side surgery or the wrong patient of drug administration, or might be the wrong drug being administered to the patient, might be even the milligrams and so on. As well as the third important objective of CPA is that economic interest. So economic interest in the sense, according, might be if a patient is being admitted in a hospital, it might be in the ICU. So in an ICU, if the patient is being treated for more than 3 days, there must be a rationale behind it. Rationale in the sense like it should be moreover you can say that the patient must be immediately transferred to either to the lower step down ICU or might be to the ward. In such cases, if the patient is being treated might be without the proper reason or without getting consent for more than 5 days or so, or if any other treatments without information of the patient or the attender is being increasing the economic socio-economic background very low to the patient, then that can be also a major cause. Like patient can sue if there is any sort of issue behind him. And the fourth important objective is that improved access to information. As this CPA has come into existence, we can evidently see that all the patients and all the healthcare workers and the doctors, the physicians, the consultant, might be the radiographer or any other person, physiotherapist, are always like they access that is they give the information even while touching the patient. So what is the need, what is maybe positioning a patient. So you're telling the advantages of why he or she is being put on a supine position or semi-fowler's position. So likewise, we are giving more importance on why the patient is being placed in that position, or might be he or she is getting any medications. So before administering the medication, we have rights around 12 rights which is being followed, and might be even if the patient refused to eat that particular drug, he or she is feeling nauseated and doesn't want to consume the drug, and very well you can just jot it down in the nurse's record that the reason for not taking the drug. So likewise, so when this CPA has come into existence, patients are getting more access to information, why it is done to them and why it is not done to them, and so on. As well, the last objective is that it protects from hazards and safety. As I always tell you, my dear children, like we the nurses always keep up important policies that do no harm. Might be if you leave the patient calm in position, not touching or not disturbing the patient's BP may reduce. Instead, going and stimulating the patient or going and talking to the patient more on the anxious state of the disease condition, that may put him into more trouble. So we always keep that the patient is not being harmed. We explain everything to the patient and then we proceed with if he gives the consent. And if the consent is not given, don't worry, just record in your document, register that the patient has refused this particular drug, or the patient has refused to be placed in that particular position to prevent bed sores and so on. So my dear children, keep in mind that always document whenever the patient or the attender they say in the changes in the treatment, or might be not focusing towards the treatment, or a refusal of treatment and so on. So yes, now being the patient or the consumer, what can be their possible rights? The first and foremost right is that they have the equal right to ensure safety. So to ensure safety in the sense like it starts with even a drug administration. So in drug administration, we'll be seeing many policies such as like LASA drug, local like and sound alike drug. It should be kept very far away so that we can prevent the drug error, drug administration error. As well, when you get an oral order or might be a telephonic order, you talk to the doctors, as well as you get the what to say, you get the full approval that they whether they've told the exact drug. For example, the doctor has prescribed dopamine to be infused, so you do the read back technique and ensure the safety. So here safety stands like it stands even starting from a simple drug administration till the patient being transferred. While transferring, see that you're putting the side drains for the patient into the stretchers, or might be you're putting the safety belt when the patient is being shifted in a wheelchair and so on. Right to be intimated. So you are the whole responsible person, like we have to intimate each and every activity whatever we deal with the patient. As I told you earlier, might be a positioning, giving drugs, or might be giving medicines or giving the diet and so on. And the right to be selected, like for example, if you go and ask in for a consent form to be signed for a blood transfusion, so we are giving the options like what are the other ways he can improve the anemia for an anemia patient. So it is not necessary like all the patient needs blood transfusion. So we can go in depth on the diagnosis whether it is a macrocytic or microcytic anemia, and we can plan like whether the iron infusion itself can cure the cause, or might be if it is due to liver disorders, treating the liver disorders rather than directly going for a blood transfusion. So you are giving the options like what are the options in the new medical era, put onto the patient, act as a nurse advocacy and give him the right to be selected what to be done to him or her. Right to get listened to. right to get listened to in the sense whatever the complaints the patient is coming out with. Might be he's being admitted with a headache, but suddenly he or she is being developing a dizziness or nauseated or something else. So we, the nurse, should calmly listen to whatever the patient gives the complaints. Might be you can take it in the otherwise, like for example, if the patient is mentally unsound. So how are you going to give the drug? How are you going to compromise the patient and bring him to the therapy, like so on. Right to get relieved. So right to get relieved in the sense might be the symptom or might be the procedures, invasive procedures which is done earlier, or might be the patient being planned for certain sort of getting admitted to other units like bone marrow transplantation unit and so on. So always the patient is having the right to get relieved, might be as I told you refusal of treatment or going for further treatment. And the last right of the patient is that right for the person who trades for money or for goods. So yes, can you list on the consumer's rights as we discussed earlier in the previous slides? So from this you can easily coin out that the right to safety, the patient is having right to choose what therapy can be done, and we have to be an active listener. So right to be heard, whatever he says, right to be informed. We have to go and inform each and every activity and each and every move to the patient we do, and the right to healthy environment. Healthy environment is that you're giving an infection free environment, preventing many sorts of hospital acquired infections, and right to readdress. So whenever necessary, he can go in for an appeal in the courts and so on, and right to consumers education, or you call it as the patient teaching, and as well as the last right will be right to basic needs such as the patient have to receive food, water, as well as shelter, that is safety for preventing the patient from falls and other hospital injuries. So the when you go and turn on to the silent features, you can see that you can divide into three major things. As I told you, it's like the district, and the other side you have the state commission, and on the other side you have the national commission forum. So in the district might be, for example, you take in a Coimbatore in a well-renowned hospital, the patient is being given a wrong surgery. Patient has gone, had the complaint of cornea like glaucoma on the right side, but instead the patient has been undergone the surgery on the left side. Then what can be done in the district level is that he can appeal in the court, where there will be three members involved in this particular case, and usually it will be one district judge followed by two law members, and in these two law members there can be one woman who is being elected. So what they do here in the district forum is that they can file the case, as well as compensation will be given to them if they are on the right track with around 5 lakhs from the hospital side. And in case if this is not being dealt, then the patient will be escalating to the higher level, the next level, that is the state commission. If the damage is very serious and severe, that can be passed within 30 days to the state government. And here you can see that filing in compensation around 2 lakhs is given to the patient, and they can escalate to the higher level in case if the state commission is not giving or it's not going on with the satisfaction. Then you can go on to the national level, which is the Supreme Court. So in the state commission you can see evidently that they can appear in the High Court, and there will be a judge, and there are two law members followed by that. And here usually it is the High Court judge who is being taking the case and evidently going through the case throughout. And the last will be like if he or she is not getting the correct compensation, or if it is a heavy major loss such as rehabilitation, or patient losing the limb, patient losing the eyesight, or patient not able to speak after a brain surgery or so, or might be any other liable activity which has caused a total rehabilitation, or the patient is dead, then they will be going to the national level, that is National Commission, where the Supreme Court judge will be involved to find out whether it is a liable case, and it is also being ruled or run by 4 law members who will be auditing the case sheets and so on. So this is how the salient features goes on from district level to national level. And not wasting your time more, so here you have certain expansions to know, that is DC, DRF, SC, DRC, NC, DRC. So what are these is that, don't get confused, it's nothing but district level, state level and national level, the Consumers Disputes Redressal Forum. So before we could end the slide, let us focus on what will be the possible advantages and disadvantages. The main advantages is that the healthcare worker are responsible for their total actions. So here the patient is on a more safer side and safer hands, speedy to justice to consumers or the patients. As well, decisions will be made on the law base, faith base, as well as fairness. And here documentation will be appropriate, and better performances can be seen among the healthcare workers for the patient's recovery. And you can see that all the patients who are getting treated in the private hospital will be having a reasonable charges. The main disadvantage is that medical services are always personalized, so it is not going to be universally standardized, and doctors tend to practice defensive medicine. Likewise, there can be chances of blackmailing among the colleagues, among your lawyers, patients, or social workers, so that may damage to your reputation, and might be patient may refuse to take, not the patient, the doctor may refuse to take the complicated cases. So to end up, like, consumer rights is actually legally setting a standard to the patient as well as setting a standard to the healthcare worker, whereby the patient is more knowing on it and demanding it, and the patients are getting protected out of it. So that is all for today. If you have any further queries or doubts, please don't forget to put it onto the comment box. And thank you all. And if you want any other topics, please feel free to put it into the comment box. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share my channel. Thank you.